What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City transfer update. The domestic window is still open. We're still getting bits of news coming out, just not on a regular basis for me to do daily Manchester City transfer updates, unfortunately. But we've still got bits of news. We're still getting bits of news about business City could be doing in January as well. So if you want to stay in the loop with the latest Manchester City transfer news and the latest news, then make sure you subscribe, press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. I'm aiming for 14,000 subscribers, so any help towards that will be much appreciated. Don't forget also social media links in the description below and sliding across at the bottom of the screen if you want to follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. Email also in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoy this video, and most importantly, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And so without further ado, we're going to crack on with this video. We've got some contract news, some good news. Kevin De Bruyne. Now, Jack Gaughan, he's been reporting that Manchester City want Kevin De Bruyne on a new contract, a new long-term contract, and City want to put De Bruyne on a 2-year extension on top of his current deal. He's currently got 3 years left on his contract at Manchester City, so this would be a new 5-year contract, which we've got value of what this contract would be worth. It would be worth over £300,000 per week. Incredible amount of money that, and Kevin De Bruyne are going to become one of, if not the highest paid player at Manchester City, to reflect his importance to the club. He's also the vice captain at Manchester City. Now, I would imagine that if Fernandinho was to leave Manchester City next summer, and his contract is up next summer, Kevin De Bruyne, on top of this new contract, would be the captain at Manchester City as well. So he's going to become the new main man at Manchester City. Is the direction that we're heading in. We're just waiting for De Bruyne to sign that. And I think that'd be a good morale boost for Manchester City. De Bruyne on a new long-term contract is brilliant. You want your best long-term great players on new contracts, and a new 5-year contract for one of the best players in the world would be fantastic. So hopefully that will be sorted quite soon. Not got an update on the contract update with Pep Guardiola just yet. Not sure if he's going to extend his contract or not. I imagine if he does, that would come a lot later into the season. I'm talking into 2021. February, March time, I imagine something would come out. So we'll see what happens with Pep Guardiola. I do think it's a bit uncertain for the players, and it's unsettling for the club and for the manager when you don't know who's going to be in charge next season. Pep. That's what comes with Pep Guardiola, so we'll just have to wait and see with what happens there. Now, moving on to the outs, we've got an update on Joel Latibeaudiere. Now, he's still expected to leave Manchester City during this domestic window that is open. Reading and Norwich City, they are interested in a loan deal, according to the Manchester Evening News. You can still sell players permanently as well, don't have to be loaned during this domestic window. Domestic means that Manchester City can do business with any club as long as they're in England that is outside of the Premier League. So we can negotiate deals with Championship players. So if City wanted to sign a player from the Championship, they could do that during this domestic window. That closes on October 16th. That's very unlikely, by the way. But teams from the EFL, from the Championship and below, can sign players from Manchester City, both on a permanent basis and on a loan. More realistic that players during this domestic window will leave out on loan. So I suspect that we will get towards October 16th quite busy with young players leaving Manchester City. And speaking of loans, speaking of the Championship, moves us nicely onto Patrick Roberts. He's completed his medical at Middlesbrough. That's according to the Football Insider. That is all but announced now. We just need an official announcement that Patrick Roberts has joined Middlesbrough on loan. Middlesbrough don't need to rush this because they've got the international break, so they're not going to care that much. Patrick Roberts isn't in demand that he needs to be signed right now so he can be ready for their next game. They've got until after the international break to get that one sorted, so we're just waiting for Middlesbrough to announce that that loan deal has been completed. When it does, I will bring that to you first and fast. Now, moving on to the ins. Manchester City, we could be quite busy this January and this summer. I think Manchester City are going to do a little bit of business in the January transfer window. I don't think we're going to do lots and lots because I imagine that City would probably start to pick up their form and getting players coming back now from injury and recovering from that isolation and stuff. So I suspect City will really kick on after the international break and into November, and hopefully have a strong December, which is we sometimes do, sometimes don't. So I'm hoping we can have a strong December then. If that's the case, then City might not be that busy in the winter window. I suspect still that City will want to do a little bit of business, considering we're still chasing players right towards deadline day. So I suspect City may go back to them deals, which moves us nicely onto Nicolas Tagliafico. Now, Lucas Scagliola, who is a source in Italy, has said that Manchester City are still chasing Tagliafico, and Manchester City are planning a move for the left-back in January. That could still happen. Plays for Ajax, of course, but apparently this is all dependent on what's going to happen with the left-back situation. Obviously, we've got Benjamin Mendy that's playing at left-back. If he continues to, you know, not be impressive, then City could well dip in for a left-back. We've got Cancelo coming back now. Obviously, Zinchenko hasn't left Manchester City either, so we have got options at left-back. If these options do not work, I imagine City will go into the January transfer window for a left-back. Obviously, a player would need to leave. That player would more than likely be Alexander Zinchenko. Personally, my opinion, I would like to see Kyle Walker and João Cancelo competing with each other for that right-back spot. Zinchenko to leave for the sake of his own career, so he's playing in attacking midfield in his more natural role that he's very good in, by the way. Plays for Ukraine in that position, and he's always been impressive in that position. So I think he needs to find a club that would play him in that position for him to excel. He's an attacking player playing at left-back. I mean, that's... We're Manchester City. Yeah? We should be having two options for each, quality options, by the way, in each position. And left-back is an area that looks weaker than the rest. And Tagliafico is a player that I like. He's a player that in my opinion, would improve Manchester City. And so, him competing with Benjamin Mendy, it would make sense for that to happen. But it remains to be seen what Manchester City are going to do. City also keeping an eye on the striker situation, and in particular Sergio Aguero and how he reacts to his from his injuries. Recovered from that, he's now in full squad training with Manchester City, so he should be available for selection when we come back after the international break. If he continues just to pick up niggling injuries and he can't really recover, then City could well, in the winter window, go in for a striker as well. Sergio Aguero, he's got less than 1 year left on his contract as well. Again, uncertain. We'll see what happens there. Now, moving on to our final story. The most interesting story, actually, in my opinion, comes in the form of an update on Dayot Upamecano. Now, Bild in Germany, they've been reporting, and they're normally quite reliable with their stuff, for saying that 3 English clubs are chasing Dayot Upamecano for next summer. Manchester City, Liverpool, and Manchester United. Next summer, Upamecano's got a release clause in his contract that comes active. 40 million euros. So if Manchester City is still chasing a centre-back for next summer, City could well go in for Upamecano. He does play on that right side, and so that means that the situation with John Stones would need sorting out. Eric Garcia next summer will not be a Manchester City player. I'm confident of saying that. Fernandinho could leave Manchester City as well if we don't add an additional 12 months on top of his contract. That means then we've literally got Ruben Diaz and John Stones that can play on that right side of centre-back, which I've not got a problem with that. John Stones keeps getting injured, and if that continues for this next season, so John Stones is on last chance saloon, he's got a season to prove himself. If he doesn't do that, John Stones, in my opinion, will leave Manchester City next summer. That means City would need another centre-back. Upamecano, 40 million euros. City have got a very good working relationship with RB Leipzig, in particular over the transfer deal involving Angelino. I'm sure City, if they wanted a centre-back, and trust me, City work on deals months in advance. I would have thought early into next year, if City do want Upamecano, that I would hope would start putting things in the pipeline. 40 million euros. If Upamecano carries on from where he left off last season, there's going to be a lot of demand for him for that price. And so the only way City could bring him in is to act quick. And it could be done. A release clause means we don't get ripped off. There's not going to be a bidding war. It's literally 40 million euros. Activate that release clause. Let's go. I would hope that if City do want Upamecano, they're talking with him, they're talking with his representatives, and they're talking with RB Leipzig. Knowing Manchester City, RB Leipzig won't be able to afford Angelino. They won't play him for them 5 games that have to be played in the second half of the season, and City are trying to negotiate a deal with Leipzig instead to include Angelino on that deal. Some other club will come in, activate that release clause, hop ahead of us, he'll sign for them, and then Angelino comes back to Manchester City, and we're in the same situation as what we was this summer for next summer. That's my concern. Hopefully, though, City can act quick. Upamecano takes my fancy. Very good player. Tagliafico, very good player. Takes my fancy. These are good, solid signings, in my opinion, for Manchester City, and certainly helped with our squad depth. So there we go, that's been the video. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up so I know that you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below too, as I'm always interested in what you do have to say. Subscribe if you're new around here, press that red button, press the bell and put your push notifications on. Aiming for 14,000 subscribers. Any help towards that will be much appreciated. Plenty more Manchester City content, transfer news, latest news, watch-alongs, fan reactions and stuff to come for people to look forward to, so make sure that you do subscribe. Also, social media links in the description below and sliding across at the bottom of the screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. Email also in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business enquiries. And I'll be back again for another video very soon. So I've been JSGC. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day. I hope everyone is safe and well. Thank you for watching. Peace. Ciao for now.